Year 3, this is a video I'm making on the Wear for Red Dyslexia Day. So I'm sorry if it is a bit out of where you are today. This is going to be put on for next Friday, but today is the day I could find time to do it. So this is really just for the class that hasn't had You Can Do It With Me yet. My understanding will be that I will hopefully have met 3F in the flesh on site on the Tuesday, and so today this is for 3K. Now, feelings and emotions, I asked you last week to think about whether or not you've ever felt angry or worried or down, a bit depressed and sad. Have you ever found yourself not paying attention? Have you ever felt yourself procrastinating, which is just a fancy word for doing everything you can to not do what you're meant to do? So for example, at home, I have someone who might ask for a glass of water, or who might suddenly need to go to the bathroom 3 times if it's bedtime. Or maybe I have someone at home who wants to read a book or do everything that they want to do to stall and to stop themselves from doing the task, which is to go to bed. That's called procrastination. So these are called blockers. What are they called? These 5 blockers can get in the way of being productive and what we need to do. And so what we're trying to teach you is to make sure that you can manage those. There's a lot of noise, I'm sorry, in the background. We have some children who are playing in the assembly area. So what I need you to do is think about those 5 things. Write them down if you can. So angry. Write down worried. Write down the word down, which just means that you're feeling a bit, unhappy. So angry, worried, down. Not paying attention, you could just put NPA, which stands for not paying attention, or procrastination. That's a big word for Year 3, just put P. Those are the 5 blockers. I'm going to read out some statements for you now, and I want you to tell me in your mind, you can't actually tell me, but just think to yourself, yep, no, I've definitely been there, yep, okay. I want you to look at those 5 on your page and see if you can also identify which blocker it is. So here we go, I'm going to read out some statements and let's see if you can identify them. Okay, here we go. Number 1. When your work is taking you a lot of time to complete, or you're finding it too hard, or it's boring, or you feel really lazy. So have you felt like that? And which one of those 5 do you think it could be? All right, let's try the next one. When someone is being unfair to you and you're feeling really angry. Has that ever happened to you maybe? Which one of those do you think it is? All right, number 3. When you get a bad grade, so a score on your test, maybe a spelling test, and you can't understand something, or you don't have fun at recess and lunch play, and you're feeling really sad. I wonder which blocker that could be. And if you felt that, maybe make a mental note of that. Number 4, when you have to give a speech in class, now you do have speeches coming up, so you might even have had this before. A speech in class, or you've got a really important test, and you really just can't stop worrying. Maybe that's you, maybe you've had that. Which one of those do you think it would be? And the last one, in class, when you are bored or you don't understand something, you switch off, you don't pay attention. All right, so let's go through them and see. You can pause if I'm going too quickly if you need time. So the first one was talking about taking your time and completing things if they're too boring. That's procrastination, and you probably knew that. That's where you're stalling. When someone's being unfair to you, angry. Okay, I'm sure we've all been guilty of that. Angry is a very red colour, isn't it? The one that we had, number 3, was about getting a bad grade, not having fun at break time. Down, that's when you're feeling down and sad. Number 4, giving a speech in class. Oh, there's the bell. Or you have an important test to take and you're worried. That's exactly what the blocker is, worried or being anxious. And the last example was that you're really bored or something's too hard, you just don't pay attention. If that's happened to you, then that blocker is called needs paying attention or not paying attention. Now, the most important thing for you all to remember is this is normal. All of those feelings and emotions are totally normal. And I know grown-ups, including myself, who felt those. We have to manage them. We have to make sure they don't take over and that we're not feeling them too much so that we can get on with the day, get on with what you have to do. Someone like a mum or a dad or a nan or a pa, someone like me, if I was always feeling worried or I was always feeling angry, how can I do my job? How can I be a mum? How can I pay the bills? How can I go and drive my car and all of those things? So it's very noisy. I'm sorry about if you can hear that noise. So what you have to do today for your task, if you're still with me, is just to have a think about one of those 5. Pick one that you think you have experienced. Maybe there's one that you've experienced a lot of. And I want you to write down something that you could do maybe to deal with it next time in a different way. And we'll talk about that when we come back to class next week, because next week on the Tuesday and Wednesday we'll have more time together. 3K, I will speak to you on a Friday too after week 4. But what's one of those things that you can do to change or do something differently? And that's a goal. So the You Can Do It people are asking me to ask you to think about the blocker that you most identify with, and during the week, if something happens that you can say, oh my goodness, that's the blocker angry, that's the blocker worried, that's the blocker that needs paying attention, and they're saying if you can identify it at that time, then it can help. So hold on to that information, and I will see you in the next lesson and we can talk about it. But thanks if you've stayed with me, and see if you can explain to mum and dad or nan or pa or auntie or uncle or someone at home what a blocker is. That would be really helpful. And thank you. It sounds like there's a bit of a music concert happening out there, so I better go and join in the fun. Bye, you 3.